Say, that's a great-looking camera you have. Where'd you get it? No, don't tell me.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 things from the 90s you'll likely never do again.
Wow! The first step in helping you solve a heating problem.
What?
For this list, we'll be looking at the most common things we had to do in the 1990s that now seem like ancient history. Did you live through the 90s? What's something you're likely not to do again? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. Wait to see your pictures. If you were born after the 90s, there's a good chance you've never been exposed to the world of film cameras.
Say, where can I get one?
Just pick up the phone and call.
They had been around for more than 100 years before the era of digital photography took over. Prior to this new media, photos were captured onto a strip of film and then had to be sent away to be developed. Whether you used a modern 1-hour photo center or sent them away for a few days, you had to wait at least a little while to see how they came out. Even worse, most rolls of film could only hold around 25 pictures or so, but you tended to end up with less because someone was always covering the lens with their thumb. Number 9. Crank the windows down. Although this feature can be found on a handful of modern cars, for the most part it's a thing of the past. Today you push a button and the windows in your car roll up and down effortlessly. Prior to this feature being widely available, riders had to manually crank a small arm on the door to open and close the windows.
Roll your window down, start there. So you gotta hear the street, you gotta smell it, you know? You gotta taste that shit, feel it.
It was tedious and made even worse in certain weather conditions. Power windows actually hit the market pretty early on in 1941, but it really was only a luxury at the time. It took many years before they became the standard, and now we can't imagine going back.
Sorry, man. It's not gonna work. You're not Schwarzenegger. How is that possible? How is that possible?
Number 8. Use a payphone.
Hello?
Good afternoon.
Hey,
I'm calling to speak
where
to
are you calling from?
It was in the 2010s when carrying a phone in your pocket became the mainstream. Not only do most people carry some type of mobile device, but also, more often than not, it's the primary, if not only way people stay connected. Yet, it wasn't that long ago that things were quite different.
Really?
Yeah.
Payphones were physical booths with corded telephones that a person could put change into to make a single local call. They were found in malls, gas stations, restaurants, and virtually anywhere you might need to make a phone call from. Most payphones have since been retired, and the ghosts of those left behind are considered relics of an era long gone by. Kind of poetic when you think about it.
Hi, time's up. 58 seconds.
Right.
Number 7. Use a floppy disk. How we store information for our electronic devices have come a long way. It's hard to imagine the likes of cassette tapes or punch cards being used to store computer data. Floppy disks were invented as a portable storage medium to hold electronic information. They contained a magnetic circular disk that would spin while a device read from and wrote data onto it. They were the most popular way to transfer data from one computer to another for many years. Eventually replaced by CDs, DVDs, USB sticks, and hard drives, floppy disks have only managed to survive as the save icon in your Word document. Guess we're all a little nostalgic, huh? Number 6. Use a phone book.
Wood's not cheap.
There's oil. Carry is the fireplace.
How about steam? You gotta have insulation.
I know electric.
Hold it.
Sorry.
Hold it. The first step is the yellow pages.
Do you know the difference between the yellow and white pages? If you were born in the smartphone age, probably not. Every year, homes would get a copy of these delivered to their doorstep. If you needed someone's landline number, you'd open the white pages and look it up. When you needed a plumber or wanted to order pizza, you'd dig it out of the yellow pages. These giant books contained the listings for every business and person with a phone in your local area.
It gets beat up, bruised, battered, abused, because it's the one packed with millions of businesses.
Since they've since been replaced by a quick Google search, the most common thing these books are used for now is kindling, probably. Or ripping them in half works too, we guess. Number 5. Blow out video game cartridges. If you owned the original Nintendo Entertainment System, there's a good chance you did this. Every so often, you'd put in your cartridge, turn on the console, and get a weird glitchy screen. Turning the console off, you'd retrieve the cartridge, blow into it, and then put it back and try again. More often than not, the game would spring to life and on you would go. Since many consoles in the 80s and 90s relied on solid-state cartridges for games, this trick became the de facto way to fix your game when it wouldn't load. Whether or not it actually worked is debatable, but nonetheless, players still did it all the time. Number 4. Rent movies at a store.
Fast checkout, 24-hour quick drop return, open late every night. Well, the perfect video store
Welcome to Blockbuster Video.
is popping up all over the country. There's one near you.
All cards on the table, we know that video rental stores are not completely dead. A handful of mum and pop shops are still out there, and you'll occasionally see videos for rent at a corner store.
When you see them all next to each other, it's kind of makes it easier, but with on Netflix you only see the title and that's all, but you have to scroll through it and it takes a while to get through all of the movies.
Across the board, however, the world has moved on to streaming services for on-demand movies. When Netflix introduced the idea of subscription-based DVD rentals towards the end of the 1990s, it signaled the end of an era. No longer did you have to leave your house to rent a movie, and about a decade later, they pivoted to streaming and the world never looked back. Sorry, Blockbuster, but we don't miss your late fees.
Wow. Wow.
Number 3. Record songs on cassette. Much like our previous entry, the world of music faced a massive change in the 1990s as well. At one time, music fans would listen to their favourite songs on the radio and scramble to record them on a cassette tape when they came on. Then along came Napster and MP3s, and the world changed forever. With the introduction of digital music, the landscape completely shifted.
It was on college campuses with high-speed internet that Napster really took off in the fall of '99.
So, how many MP3s do you have on your computer? About 600.
Maybe 100 or something.
6 or 7,000.
No one was recording songs off the radio or making mixtapes anymore. Instead, services like iTunes and Spotify let us hear any song we wanted, for a small fee, of course. At least we don't have to hear the announcer's voice at the start or end of our favourite tunes anymore. Seriously, sometimes they spoke right through it. Number 2. Use dial-up internet. In 1997, using a 56k baud modem, it would have taken you roughly 10 minutes to download a single 4MB MP3 music file. Although that may seem ridiculously slow compared to what we have now, the internet was also a different place. During the days of dial-up internet, the web didn't really exist, and most people used the internet to simply browse message boards and surf through gopher sites, which were essentially just text-based web pages.
On your mark, get set. We're riding on the internet, cyberspace, set free. Hello, virtual reality.
Users of dial-up internet will tell tales of slow load times and that terrible screeching noise of the phone connecting to a provider. Guys, you couldn't use the phone and internet at the same time. The 90s really were a wild time. Before we reveal our top pick, here's an honourable mention. Run back to the TV after commercials. It was kind of like a game of cat and mouse to see whether you'd make it back in time. Number 1. Be kind, please rewind. VHS, and in the early years, Betamax, were magnetic tapes put into VCRs, short for video cassette recorders. Audiences would rent a movie in the form of a VHS tape, play it on their VCR, and when the movie was done, they would rewind it for the next person. Much like cassettes, VHS tapes were a magnetic medium and ran sequentially from start to finish. If you wanted to go back to an earlier point in the film, you had to physically rewind the tape. Movie rental stores would always have signs and stickers reminding people to rewind their tapes before returning them. Not only was it annoying, but so was the constant nagging reminder to do so too. No one misses that part of the 90s.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.